Business. Representing Isoko Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, I'm from Delta State. May I move, and I so move, that a bill for an act to alter Section 308 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, and for other related matter, HB 79, be read the second time, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues. I so move.
Order. I represent Abuja Municipal Buhari, Federal Constituency. I read to second the motion that this bill be read for second time, Mr. Speaker.
This amendment is a very straightforward amendment, but needs some clear explanation so that we can come into conformity with the present day reality. I state with all emphasis that the job of a lawmaker is to amend laws that have specific challenges. First and foremost, addressing mischiefs that have reared their heads in our business on a continuous basis. This amendment seeks for further strengthening of this institution, this great green chambers, or rather the National Assembly. It borders further on strengthening the clear principles of separations of power as enshrined under the provision of Section 5, 4, and 6 of the Constitution. It is important we appreciate where I am coming from. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, this amendment, like I have emphasized, is purely for the independence of the institution, which is a different arm of government entirely. The basis of this amendment is to avoid unnecessary distraction. I state with all emphasis that we are all abreast and understand our criminal jurisprudence, where you know that there is no time bar for any criminal issues. But this business of lawmaking is specifically for 4 members of the National Assembly. Honorable colleagues, please, I appeal that you lend me your ears so that you will understand my point of argument. This amendment is not for the whole of the members of the National Assembly, so that the press may not misunderstand why we seek this amendment. It is clearly for the presiding officers, which is the Senate President, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Deputy Senate President, and also the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, including the speakers of the various state House of Assemblies and their deputies. And why do we seek this amendment? My colleagues, you can clearly see that the business of lawmaking is a very, very tedious business. When the speaker sits there on the table, he is not the Honorable Dogara, but he is the Speaker of the House of Representatives, which is the number 4 person in our great nation. That also borders on the Senate President. He carries a lot of responsibility that borders of national interest on his shoulders. And I think the most important thing we seek to look at is that, do we continue to keep distracting these officers, knowing fully well that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria enjoys immunity? That immunity does not
colleagues, order.
Does not seclude him from criminal trials.
Go and sit down on your seat. Bago.
That also goes for the governor and the deputy governor in various states. The essence of the immunities, we will all agree, is to avoid unnecessary distractions so that this group of lawmakers that have been elected in carrying out a major national interest are protected within that 4 period, or rather within that 4 years period, to carry out these functions. And I think it is important that we look at this issue holistically, no matter the complaint. If you believe that this amendment is a very good amendment, I think it is important that we give it all the necessary support. I have said clearly that it is not to shade anybody. The essence of an amendment is to address a mischief that have reared its heads. And you have seen today what is happening even in the Senate. The Senate is under trial, where the Senate President and his deputy. Presume on the day where two of them are off for such trials, that automatically means that the Senate will not be able to sit. I think that is not in the national interest. And I believe that these are issues that we must look at clinically. If anybody needs to be tried, please lend me your ears and let me finish my
order.
If anybody needs to be tried, you will give him that 4 years period. That does not exclude him from any criminal trial. I seek this amendment because of the independence of this institution. My emphasis is that we should leave this institution better than we met it. And the legacy that we will leave behind will be what people will judge tomorrow. I am therefore appealing that in the interest of this great institution, we should all support this amendment and make sure that we give this amendment the necessary support that it deserves. I would not want to use the speed of light, but if it can be given the speed of light, I will buy into it. Thank you and God bless you all.
Osai Nicholas Osai. I represent Ndoko Okwani Federal Constituency of Delta State. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I wholeheartedly adopt the submission of the minority leader of this great chamber. Mr. Speaker, I listened to some, that is what we coin to be executive imperialism against the legislature. Mr. Speaker, over the years, the question is that who produced this constitution? Same executive, through the military juntas, produced this constitution. And in producing this constitution is produced to favor the executive. Now a clause has been put that a governor, a president, or vice president cannot be prosecuted when he's in the office. Now the legislators are left open. The issue is protection of the independence of the legislature. And it behoves on us, the National Assembly members, to protect that institution that will make good governance. Whereby you try to prosecute the head of that institution, you derail the objective or even the ground norm as produced to govern this country. I listen to so many prominent lawyers in this country that legislature do not interact with outsiders, and that is the reason why that the immunity on his leadership will not be protected. I laughed. It's laughable. And what is the oversight functions? What's the public hearing we do? Is it not part of interactions with the outsiders? Is it not interaction with the masses? Is it not interaction with Nigerians? On the basis of the interaction of the National Assembly and to protect the institution called the legislature, I believe and I wholeheartedly support this bill for a second reading. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleague, when you protect the legislature, you protect the people. Because it's an assembly of the people. And it is the people who mandate the executive to implement whatever it is they have decided to implement. When you don't protect that institution that asks questions, that asks the executive how far have they implemented what the people have said through the legislator, their representative, it then means that institution is vulnerable. And during this time, history beckons on us to protect the institution that will guarantee the protection of the people. That is what all this is all about. So I want to praise the minority leader. I haven't taught it very well to bring in and forward this motion and forward this bill. I pray and I urge you, my colleagues, to allow this bill to pass with the speed of light it requires. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
It is with a very great sense of responsibility that I rise to oppose this bill. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, we are here to legislate. We are here on the behest of members of our constituencies. And when we do that, it is important that before, whilst not completely going with what people say out there, we must feel the pulse of the people whom we represent. The question needs to be put out there that if you were to poll the 170 odd members of the society out there, will they be in support of this? The answer to me is clearly no. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, there is something to be said about timing. Timing in every piece of legislation is very important. You don't want to send the wrong message. You don't want to send the wrong signal. Yes, there are issues concerning the Senate. And we pray and we hope that that is resolved and resolved amicably. But we don't go with a knee-jerk reaction. And because of what is going on in the Senate, there is no way you can convince people out there that is not why we're bringing in this amendment. I am yet to be told, in the argument of the minority leader or anybody that has spoken thereafter, of one country in the world, one democracy in the world, where the legislature, either the head of the arm of legislature, is cloaked with immunity. I don't know of one. Nigeria is a member of the Committee of Democratic Nations. We cannot begin to distinguish ourselves in such ways from other countries. Mr. Speaker, the deputy governor, the deputy president, they're cloaked with immunity. If we want to go pari passu down the line, then both the Speaker, the Senate President, the Deputy Speaker, the Deputy Senate President, and indeed the leadership should also have that if we want to carry it through. Mr. Speaker, I believe it's important that we look at this thing dispassionately. I have been here for 4 terms, going on to 16 years. I don't know of any situation where any speaker in the 16 years that I've been here has been prosecuted. I am not aware of one. So let us make laws that will endure. Let us not make laws based on the situation that comes up. That is not what we're here for. We're here to represent people, and their voice is very important. So on that note, Mr. Speaker, I know that we have elected responsible people into our chambers as the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, and I do not believe that there will be any need to be cloaking members, heads of the judiciary. We're talking about 3 arms of government. Perhaps the one that even needs the most independence is the judiciary. I am not aware that the Chief Justice of Nigeria is clothed with immunity under the Constitution. So if the Chief Justice of Nigeria is not clothed with immunity, then why are we talking about? There's a reason why the executive is the only arm of government anywhere in the world where immunity is offered. On that note, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I ask that with all seriousness and all sense of responsibility, that we reject this amendment. Thank you.
Committee on Constitutional Review, we just read them and refer it to that special ad hoc committee. That has been the tradition. So,
I'm still coming under the constitutional order.
do women, please.
Mr. Speaker. No way. I will never sit down.
Honorable Kazim. Honorable Kazim.
Go read your rules, madam. This thing will be committed to the Constitutional Review Committee. Show me
bill. Which bill cannot be read now? No. So you mean any bill? Mr. Speaker, I'm coming under. Which can I put the question?
Now that what the speaker did is right. No. It's wrong. Why should they have done that? You have kept quiet and use its power to still make it pass through. But not by just saying stop it and let it go there. Our rules doesn't say so. It's all right.
Looking for a way out of it. What is he carrying? What did he write?
Is it right in the parliament, in the chamber? You can only act through your position.
This is a parliament.
Where is it provided for? No, you can argue.
This is a parliament. Immediately for everybody. Allowance, you know this. Abdul, when you get a guy, then you scar. Yes, no immunity. Right, he has a right. Don't say that he has a right. He has a right. He has a parliament. He has a right. No immunity. I'm telling you, why do we? Point of order. Point of order. No. They are the leaders and
That honorable colleagues go back to your seats. Honorable colleagues, go back to your seat. Honorable colleagues, I'm moving to breathe.
Sorry, please. Honorable you, Madaki, take your seat, please.
I will tell you what is it
doing? 2 points of orders. One, Mr. Speaker, is the most important point of order, if there is any. That is the conscience point of order.
Order.
All of us here have a conscience.
Honorable colleagues, it's time. Go to your seats. Go to your seats.
We know what is wrong.
Go to your seats.
We are not here to make laws to protect our personal interests. Mr. Speaker, we are all aware. One of the presiding officers of the National Assembly is the
Chairman Ami. Go to your seat.
We are saying we want to give immunity to presiding officers. Mr. Speaker, I believe that is very, very wrong. That is not what the Nigerian people send us here to do. We are here to serve and protect the interests of the Nigerian people. Then I'm coming under our Rule 81(2). At the conclusion of the appointed for next stage, on the order for the second reading of the bill be read, a motion may be made that the bill be now read a second time, and a debate may arise covering the general merit and the principle of the bill. It is after that debate that the vote will be taken, Mr. Speaker. So what I'm saying is, we should take vote on this issue before pushing it anyhow. Mr. Speaker, we should protect our integrity. It is very important. We should protect the integrity of this institution. Mr. Speaker, if it is left to me, nobody in Nigeria should be given immunity. If we are not removing immunity for anybody, we must not put immunity for anybody. I so submit.
Honorable, when it comes to constitutional alteration, it's a different procedure altogether. The bill before us is not a bill on constitutional alteration, because no individual member here can craft a bill that will lead to alteration of the Constitution. It has to be the Special Ad Hoc Committee on the Alteration of the Constitution that must craft this bill. And that is why part of the provision of our rules and the tradition has been that anytime there's a bill like this seeking for reference to the committee, we pass it to the committee. Now we have experts in that committee. This debate will take place. They're the one to reach out to Nigerians, and if they so wish, they throw it away. It will never come back to the larger house. So I want the chairman, Rules and Business, please to enlighten us on the provisions of our rule. We're not passing anything today. The best we can do is to say, okay, go to Special Ad Hoc Committee. It can die there forever. No. You can't say so. What does our rule say? So please.
Point of order. Honorable members, I refer you to Order 8. Honorable members, please. Ranking members. Thank you very much, sir. Order 8. I refer honorable members to Order 8. Rule 98. And sub-rule 3. It is this rule that I want to read to Mr. Secretary and the entire House. It reads, Order 8, Rule 98, and sub-rule 3. It reads, upon the second reading, the bill shall be committed to the Special Committee of the House on Constitutional Alteration. On this note, Mr. Speaker, it is advised from this committee that this bill be referred to the Special Committee on Constitutional Alteration.
Yeah.
Point of order.
2, it talks about the debate. Shall will do. That is what we will do today. So
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Upon the second reading, let me see.
Honorable Abdul Mumin Jibrin, that's not the way to address the speaker, please. Please.
What is this one safe? No, if you check on that set of PDP, they just want us to. Why the guy go come meet us on the table? One fighting. The guy can't meet us on the table.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.